the Simeon missions make absolutely no sense whatsoever. Have you ever even paid attention to the things we do for Simeon? And we've been doing these missions for years, as everything you know about working repo jobs for Simeon Yitarian is a lie. And that lie has fooled absolutely everyone. But what is exactly so interesting about Simeon's jobs? What are these big details that millions of criminals have overlooked over these years? What exactly were we really doing for Simeon? And why is it one of the biggest unknown secrets of Los Santos? Well, Simeon Yitarian is the only person I really know that runs a legitimate business. Specifically, we're talking about an upstanding car dealership. This being a place where you can buy all the latest and coolest vehicles hitting the streets of Los Santos. Which, by the way, should never cost over 525,000 US dollars. But still, it is interesting to be able to interact with a legitimate business like this. However, that's not even the coolest part. Simeon Yitarian offers us all an opportunity, and that is to work repossession work, legitimate work, but that's why Simeon's missions are very strange, for all of them are completely legal, allowing us to repossess vehicles on consumers that are behind on their payments, by driving out to low-income neighborhoods, locating cars that are behind on their payments, waiting for the perfect time to strike, and eventually legally acquiring their automobile through the means of Italian sneakcraft, where I hopefully don't get shot to fucking shreds by Hispanic gang members with automatic SMGs. Simeon's repo work is turning out to be the only legal contact missions, and this all led me to leave my life of crime behind me, as I can now pursue honest work as a repo man. And every single one of these jobs was legitimate, legal repo work. Well, except for that one time at the Rockford Hotel, and naturally this hotel had security up the ass, so I was a little bit anxious. I knew to repo this sports car I had to get a little bit creative, but I didn't really have much in the means of critical thinking skills. Therefore, I did what I normally did when dealing with an unknown threat, and by that what I really mean is that I employed post 9/11 Brazilian guerrilla tactics, which may be going a little bit too far for a simple repo job. This mostly involved me sneaking up behind anyone near the car and hitting them as hard as I fucking can in the back of the head. I didn't even know if that guy was the owner, but I did know that it was first-degree assault and battery, so I left. But after that, I led a perfectly normal and legal repo job. Well, okay, except for that shit that went down at the Richmond Hotel. Oh man, all those poor security guards, man. They were just doing their job. And I know what you're thinking. Why am I bringing an illegally modified Desert Storm era M4 to my legitimate day job? Look, man, I know my goddamn rights, which technically doesn't protect me when assaulting a super mansion in the Vinewood Hills, but that's alright, because this was the only time I did anything shady working repos for Simeon. As long as you don't count that one mission I pulled on the freeway. See, I was like chasing this guy, and there was virtually no way I could stop him. Don't worry, I insisted on pulling this repo off in the safest way possible. So I shot him 7 times in the back of the head with what seemed to be a traditional Yakuza-style micro SMG. And hey, the car safely idled to the shoulder of the freeway, plus I was completely unharmed in this incident, and I carefully drove off with Simeon's car and returned it to the dealership. But do not worry, it never got any worse than that, as long as you forget about the stick-up I did at Gentry Manor. But you have to understand, these were all a bunch of rich kids that had bought some cars with some bad credit. So naturally, I rolled in there to repo their ill-gotten assets by aggressively shooting up the lot with automatic weapons, mostly to acquire an unequivocal amount of cooperation from these spoiled kids. Looking back, I probably could have snuck in there and just repoed the shit without nobody knowing. But hey, repo work is a learning experience. At least I didn't kill anybody. I'm not a murderer. I would never kill anyone for money. Okay, maybe I killed a few people on the job. But you have to understand, this was Ballas gang territory. And Simeon tasked me with pulling a repo job right in the heart of this cold-ass place. There had to be well over 50 of these purple-wearing bitch boys. And they were all sitting around the car I was meant to repo. So in short, I did what I had to fucking do. was my only repo job where I had to murder indiscriminately. And that business that happened in El Burro Heights was way different, alright? Again, I was going into heavily turfed up gang territory. I mean, come on, look how aggressively these guys are smoking their fucking cigarettes. Look, they're gang members, they have to be. But this time, I didn't go in there to kill the fucking Vagos, alright? The only thing I was there for was their shiny orange muscle car. And getting in that bitch was not gonna be easy. But good news, I didn't murder any of these guys at all. After defending myself all the way to their car, I was able to acquire the vehicle and hightail it out of there. And don't worry, that was the most amount of damage I've ever done on the job. Well, there was this one time Simeon had a beef with a rival dealership, and I was supposed to go over there and talk to the owner about lowering prices, but it got too late and they closed already. So I blew up his entire business with a military-issue F2 frag grenade. Which couldn't be worse than the time I was told to repo a gangbangers ride in Davis. And then I did a Boys in the Hood style drive-by shooting, and then completely forgot to grab the car and just made it look like a gang killing. Which ultimately started 3 months of non-stop gang violence between 3 rural gang factions. Weirdly enough, Simeon finally just saw my potential as Employee of the Month. He basically promoted me to a position where I got to regularly deal with other dealerships. He thought I was so good at that shit. However, these jobs usually made little to no sense to me. Typically, they just all ended up the same exact way, which was just me compiling the dealership's car stock in one location, then cooking a live frag grenade near the car stockpile, and basically destroying multiple car dealerships across the Los Santos tri-state area. Then stealing their best car to sell, which somehow does not incriminate Simeon as a conspirator to arson and terror. And I have to say, eventually these dealerships got weirder and weirder, and at some point they didn't even really look like dealerships. You must own a pretty strange dealership if it's being actively protected by ex-military mercenary contractors. And all the cars look exactly like hot imports from Eastern Europe. Wait a goddamn minute. This is not a dealership. What the fuck have I been doing, man? Holy fuck, none of these are legitimate at all. What the fuck? This is some crime syndicate shit. Who the fuck are these guys? I don't even know who owns this ship, man. Who owns this cargo ship? I lied, guys. I fucking lied. I've been lying this entire time. There is no legitimate work for us in Los Santos. I've been fucking lying. I think I just started a gang war. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna fucking kill me. Maybe I can fix it. I have money. I can fix this. Oh shit, the fucking fire department's here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get here. You think they'll believe it? You think they'll believe they'll say if it's an accident? What if they find out if it was me? I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta get the fuck out. I got fired and indefinitely banned from Simeon's dealership. Maybe it's just because I was a little late with some of the repos, but mostly it was because I started an internal meltdown scenario of the Armenian Mafia Syndicate. But that's okay, because I had a backup plan this whole time. I was going to work with Lamar Davis. At least this shit wasn't like that weird stuff that happened during Halloween. I mean, did you even notice what was really going on? Holy shit, it was horrible. You have to hear this shit, it's fucking crazy, man.